All right, it is Monday, and I am joined by the incomparable Sunny Hostin.
Oh, thank you, Brian.
I'm running out of adjectives, but they're all true. How are you?
I'm good.
All right, let's get started with some news. It was a very newsy weekend, and some of it was really tragic and awful, but we're talking about this political violence. We're talking about on the show today.
Yeah.
Minnesota State Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband were killed on Saturday, and State Senator John Hoffman and his wife were wounded. It looks like they're going to be okay, thank God, in politically motivated shootings. It's just horrible. What's your reaction when you see something like this?
You know, I hate to say it, but this has been something that is a long time coming. You know, we've been seeing it sort of ratchet up from Gabby Giffords to Steve Scalise to Paul Pelosi and now this. And if you look at some of the studies, because it has been studied since 2016, after the 2016 election, people have felt that political violence is appropriate in certain instances, when before it was always inappropriate. That was something that you just didn't do. And it's not just a few Americans. We're talking about like 1 in 3. And you know, we seem to forget that you had the head of the FBI testify in front of Congress that domestic terrorism was our biggest threat.
Right.
White supremacy, our biggest threat. And I count this political violence as part of domestic terrorism, right? It's sort of the enemy from within in many respects. And so I'm not surprised at it, but I'm saddened by it. And I'm also a bit surprised at the fact that it just keeps on going on and it's getting worse and worse and worse. Because now you have an administration that's militarizing our troops, militarizing law enforcement against citizens, and I think you're going to see more and more violence.
And there is violence on against both sides here.
Yeah, I don't think it's Republican, Democratic. No. I think it's.
You saw the assassination attempts and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think it's that anymore. I think it's that people find that political violence in and of itself, regardless of which side you're on, is somehow now more acceptable than it's ever been, and that scares the heck out of me. I mean, you also have someone like Senator Alex Padilla out of California, a senior senator, being arrested for simply asking a question, which is when you start seeing the quelling of political dissent, that generally comes with violence.
Right.
And so I'm scared at what I'm seeing, because it's, as Whoopi said today, it's not only un-American, it's unconstitutional.
The thing that struck me, and we talked about it a little bit on the show today, is just the immediate, the first instinct of everyone is to assign blame on one political party or the other, as opposed to any genuine concern or anything else.
Yeah, that's not. They shouldn't do that. They shouldn't think, okay, was the shooter a Democrat?
Right.
Was the shooter a leftist? Was the shooter,
his voting record shouldn't be the first thing we worry about.
No, it's the actual violence that we're seeing everywhere.
Right.
And it seems to be that Americans now think that it's appropriate. And that's something that we see in non-democratic countries. Right. And I'm afraid of that.
Well, let's switch gears to another big story that we haven't been able to talk about on the show as much as maybe we'd like to, is this Sean Diddy Combs
I've
trial.
wanted to talk about it, Brian.
I know.
I'm in the courtroom.
Well, let me tell you, I get a lot of pushback on this.
I know.
People yell at me about it. The hosts are choosing the topics, people.
I always want to talk about law and crime, as you know. But I've been in the courtroom. One of the I think was a game changer that just happened is that they replaced one of the jurors with an alternate,
because he had a shady address history. Is that what it is?
You know,
explain what happened.
This is a federal case, and and it's in the Southern District of New York, so you have to live in New York. This guy was he said he lived in the Bronx, and the prosecution found out and the government found out, and I think the defense also found out he was actually living in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. So that's disqualifying.
Sure.
And so
could that be a mistrial too, or no?
It's not a mistrial basis, I don't think, but the defense certainly tried to keep him. He was a black guy from the Bronx. I've been watching him. He is not buying what the prosecution is selling.
Oh, really?
And so the defense really wanted to keep him.
Right.
He was a fan of 90s hip hop,
Well,
knew
who isn't?
about
Let's be clear.
Who isn't?
If that's a reason to get thrown off a jury, I will never serve.
Exactly, same. But it's a significant loss, I think, to the defense in terms of the diversity of the jury. There's still 8 men and 4 women, but now he was replaced by an older white man in his late 50s who is an architect from Westchester.
Okay.
And
Probably
so
not the profile of the defense, what they wanted.
That's a very different dynamic, and they made a pretty good argument saying that that Sean Combs deserves diversity in the jury, a jury of his peers, and that the prosecution has sort of systematically removed a lot of the black jurors. I did see that myself. Most, if not all, of their challenges were for black jurors. So that may be an issue on appeal.
Now, as a prosecutor, is that something you would try to do as well?
I didn't do that. I didn't need to do that. I won all my cases anyway. But I will tell you, it's been really fascinating to watch because I think these cases are won or lost during jury selection. I always say that.
Right.
And so they
But
had
now the jury's changing.
The jury's changing, and so not a lot of people are talking about that, but it's really juicy because there's also one woman in the front. She's got big silver hoops, and every time she hears that someone got money, someone who was testifying got money, whether it be 30,000 or 30 million, she's had enough.
You see the hoops moving.
The hoops are flying. She's just looking around. And so she's going to be a problem for the prosecution.
Wow. All right. Well, so at this point, who do you think is putting on the better case? Who do you think is winning right now, defense and prosecution?
I've got to tell you, I think the defense is really great. You've got Mark Agnifilo, whose wife is representing Luigi. You've got Tenny Garagos, Mark Garagos' daughter. It's just, although on the other side, you have James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey, the lead prosecutor. But the defense, a
lot of Nepo lawyers.
Yeah, but they're very good. They're all very good.
Yeah.
And what I will say is, what people don't realize is the prosecution has to prove its case to 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt. The defense only needs one juror to think, I don't know. I don't know if I believe that one witness. I don't know. That person got $30 million. I don't find her credible. And the defense wins. And the defense has poked a lot of holes in this case.
Now, I know the big question is about separating the bad behavior, general bad behavior from trafficking.
Character. Yeah, his character.
But is there and I don't know this because I haven't been paying that close attention, but is there a version of this where he's not found guilty of trafficking but still goes to jail?
Yes, there is a version of it that he's not found guilty of, let's say, racketeering.
Okay.
But he goes to jail on the Mann Act, which is like transporting people, underage people, or the sex trafficking for transporting people for the purposes of sex.
Yeah.
So I will say, there is a version that he gets convicted, but if I'm doubting it, I would imagine that a layperson is doubting some of this.
All right. And of course, Diddy has pled not guilty to all charges and
Yes.
denied all sexual assault allegations.
Yes.
Now, you can hear more about this with Sonny
Yes.
on this trial in general and the new Hulu docuseries Diddy on Trial as it happened.
Yes.
It's streaming every Sunday on Hulu and Hulu
At
on
8
Disney
p.m.
Plus throughout the trial, 8 p.m. And it's a big hit. People love it.
Yeah, when it first came out, it was number 3. Then it went to number 1. So
There
I'm
you
very
go.
excited. People are watching it. We've got, there are no cameras in federal courtrooms.
Right.
So we have actual reenactments.
It's cool the way they do
right
it.
from the testimony. I got to tell you, having sat in the courtroom, when I watched the reenactment of Cassie Ventura, the actress nailed it. I mean,
Wow.
she looks just like her. And because I'm hearing the words that I heard in the courtroom, because they're taking all the script from the actual courtroom transcripts, it's just brilliant.
That's very
It's
cool.
brilliantly done. And I'm not saying that just because I'm hosting it. It's just really well done.
You'd be watching it anyway, though.
I
Yeah.
would be. It's
Yeah.
really well done.
You and I were both at the premiere of the new ABC News Studio documentary, Barbara Walters' Tell
Yes.
Me Everything. It'll be out on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus starting
Yes.
on June 23rd. I'm so excited for people to see this.
It was fantastic, wasn't it?
Yeah, what was your takeaway from it?
I met Barbara. She auditioned me for this gig. I knew how hardworking she was. I got a taste of that. She wasn't the easiest person. She was very exacting. She wanted to be the best, and she wanted you to be the best, and she wanted The View to be the best.
Right.
I was struck by the misogyny that she confronted, the sexism that she confronted head on, and had to deal with. And I was also struck by the fact that in many ways she sacrificed a lot of her personal life and her relationship with her daughter for her career. And we know that I wouldn't be here but for Barbara Walters and her sacrifices. But that was, it was just something that really struck me that, wow, I'm sitting here at the table that she built, and I didn't have to choose between career and family, and she did. So that was a little sad for me.
Yeah, from the View perspective, it reminded me, not that I'm ever not aware of it, but just what an important part the View is of her legacy.
Oh yeah.
And it made me very proud. Not that I'm not always, but it made me very proud to be a part of that. And I came away with it. I really want my daughter to watch it. I'm very excited about this. My 13-year-old daughter, about to be 14.
Yeah.
And I want her to understand who Barbara was and to understand the connection to what we're doing.
She fought for women to be able to have this space.
Yeah.
Just be able to give their opinions and how successful it's been. And people are very interested in hearing what women have to say.
Growing up, how aware of, was she always someone you were aware of?
Yes, I was, because I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of television. My mother was a teacher and my dad a tech guy, and ultimately, even though they got married young, 60 Minutes was always on. So I could watch 60 Minutes. I could watch 2020. I could watch that. And I saw Barbara Walters and I thought, wow, that is really cool. And they also watched Saturday Night Live. And so Barbara Walters was spoofed. Yeah, she was spoofed so much by Gilda Radner. So I just remember that and just thinking she was a cultural icon.
She was. And it's funny, when you watch this documentary, you see her in black and white, and you realize how far back it goes.
Yes.
Because I met her, got to work with her a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the thing that, for me as a child or as growing up, the thing that always sticks with me, the first time I remember her as a big deal was sitting down and watching the Robin Givens Mike Tyson interview. Do you remember that?
I remember that interview. I remember the Monica Lewinsky interview.
Yeah, the Monica one.
Castro.
Yeah.
I mean, there were huge. She was like on a tank with Castro, or a boat. It's a big deal.
Yeah, it was always a big deal.
Unbelievable.
It was always a big deal. So
the questions she would ask, people were always crying.
Right. I remember Mike Tyson just sitting there quietly while Robin says he hits me sometimes.
Yes.
And I mean, it was crazy.
It was wild.
Watching that with my family, I remember.
It was wild.
Anyway, so it's an incredible documentary.
It really is terrific.
We got to go to the party afterwards.
The party was great. They had her clothing. Some of her.
My favorite thing is on display at the Barbara Walters display that they had out there, put together by our incredible team led by Lori Hogan, and it was all this amazing stuff from her career and some of the outfits she wore and things like that.
Yes.
One of the things there was the original View table.
Yes.
And it was very cool the way they had it set up. And I was walking by and I did notice that some of the guests were eating their dinner on the View table.
They were. I didn't like that.
I didn't love it. And then you all moved in and we got some great photos, but it was a lot of fun.
I also took pictures of some of the clothing. It was really fabulous.
I saw you very excited about the clothing. Of course. Of course. No, she had some style.
She did. Man, it was good.
All right. Now let's get your take on this.
Yes.
Mandy Patinkin's wife, Catherine Grody, she revealed that he made a move on their first date by saying, it's a really bold move. He said he knew he was going to marry her. Now, you're a romantic. What do you think of this? Is that a turnoff? Is that too much? Oh.
No, it's not. Actually, I met Manny in church. I stalked him. I followed him to a bagel shop.
Yes.
Spoke to him for about 20 minutes while we were online. And I left the bagel shop and I called my friend Lisa Sifford. And I said, I just met my husband. He just doesn't know it.
All right. But that's different than saying it to him.
I might have said that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
I think it's very romantic. I think if someone says to you, I don't know you that well, but I feel like you could be the love of my life. I feel that you're my soulmate. I feel something different.
Did men ever say that to you? And
yes.
And did you like it every time, or was it kind
of
like...
I had no problem with it, but I didn't feel the same way.
Yeah. And you were just fine with that.
Manny played hard to get.
Yeah, so did my wife. Still is. All right. What did you do on your first date with Manny? We talked about first dates before.
You know what? Manny picked me up, and we went to a Lennox Lewis fight party.
We're in a boxing.
And I don't love boxing, actually. I don't like violence. But he really likes boxing. He likes UFC stuff.
The sweet science.
And we went and we got Popeye's chicken. And we brought it over to who became the best man at our wedding, Pierre Vigilance's, one of his medical school classmates, and my son's godfather.
I mean,
so we went there.
If I went on a date with a girl and she took me to see boxing and brought Popeye's chicken, I think I'd propose too. That's all you need. That's amazing.
It was a good first date. It was fun, and the people there were really fun and interesting. And Pierre's a Brit, so he was like really excited about Lennox Lewis. And
but Manny plays things cool generally. Was he cool with how he felt about you in the beginning?
Yes. He's just a cool operator.
And that works for you. You like
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah. It's fine. Because I don't know. I think some people are turned off if you're too much.
They definitely are. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
If you're chasing too much, I'm like, why are you chasing me so much?
Yeah. No, I mean, I will admit that I tend to chase, but then I also get turned off by people chasing me.
Yeah, so I like honesty, and if someone feels a certain kind of way, I like them to put it out there. But I think Manny's that's his personality. He's just a cool person no matter what. But I will tell you, I did finally say to him on our third date, he hadn't said much, hadn't tried to kiss me, anything. And I say, when he dropped me off at my apartment, I said, can I just ask you something? And he said, what? I said, do you like me like as a friend? Am I in the friend zone? Or do you like me as a girlfriend? Because if you just like me as a friend, that's great, because I think you're really interesting. But I was like 29. I was like, I don't really want to waste my time. And he said, I like you more than a friend, but I thought I was punching out of my class.
Oh.
Yeah. And I was like, well, you're not.
Oh, wow.
And the rest is history.
There we go.
Yeah, that's what he said. He thought I didn't like him, which was very interesting to me.
All right. Well, I like a girl that tells you how she feels. I think that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Now we have a very special guest. I'm excited about this. You've heard a lot about him over the years. Gabriel is here. Your son Gabe is here. Let's bring him in.
He is. My boy is here. Hi, sweetheart.
Hello.
Here he is. Welcome behind the table, Gabe.
Welcome to Brian's podcast.
That's right.
Oh, thank you, babe.
Great to be here.
This is fantastic. The audience knows a lot about you, probably more than you want them to know.
Oh, gosh.
I guess my first question is, how aware are you of how often you come up, your sister comes up on this show, and does it ever permeate your world in any way?
Not at all.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I just came in today, first time, like at this like new place here in for
studio?
ABC.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh my God, Gabriel! I've known everything about you since you were this tall." I'm like, I've just met you today.
No, man. You are talked about often.
Every day.
We know about who you're dating. We know how Sonny feels about who you're dating.
Sorry, babe.
We know about what's going on with your classes, what extracurriculars you're doing.
Sorry.
When you're out surfing instead of studying and all this stuff. So it's great. But most of all, as any proud mother, we know that you just graduated from Harvard.
Yes.
How's that feeling? I mean, I remember feeling a little crazy the couple weeks after school.
Yeah, no, it feels amazing. Weights just dropped off my shoulders. I'm just flying into the summer now. Just time to relax after 4 years.
That's great.
I can just kick back.
That's fantastic. I was panicked coming out of college, but I didn't know exactly what was going to happen. So for me, I was very, very nervous. And I think I had a job in like 2 months, but it felt like years because I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. But you're cool.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's like that right now. All my classmates are like, "Oh my God, like I need a job." It's like, I don't have a job. It's like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm really I'm trusting in the process. I feel like everybody, even
You've done
Harvard,
the work. You know what?
Well, you do kind of have a gig though.
I mean, I do have a gig right now. I'm working on my my health supplement business right now.
That's great.
Optivana, and then
You're your mother's son. You're plugging stuff
He's
already.
plugging it. Yeah.
just what I'm doing now, and then I'll be in at Yale doing some research on health in September.
Yeah,
that's great.
So he starts at Yale September 15th. So I don't think you have the pressure that other people have because you have.
That's good.
Chilling.
Did you love college in the end, or was
research
it just intense?
No, I mean, it wasn't all intense. It was good. I found some lifelong friends.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. All the teachers were like really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Like one of my teachers in my business class was like the founder of Zillow, for example.
Oh, wow.
Like those kinds of teachers
Yeah.
are common there. So it was a really fascinating experience actually.
Yeah.
All right,
You liked it.
Yeah.
that's
You liked
great.
it. But I will say, after he at graduation, it seemed to hit you that not only were you graduating, you were graduating from Harvard.
Right. I'm like, I almost forgot. Like I'm just at college right now. It's just chill. But then everyone is like, like there, and like I'm swept up in like the
pomp and
energy of it
circumstance.
all. And I'm
The
like,
pomp and
wow,
circumstance at a Harvard graduation was crazy.
like
I know your mom
It's like
mentioned there
Harry
was
Potter.
one award that you received that she was very, very proud of that you got from the
was.
staff at Harvard. Tell us about that.
the Quincy-
Pat yourself on the back.
It's the Quincy House Coat of Arms for being like a stand-up like person in the community and just being like a pillar there.
That's great. What a great thing to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was surprised myself. I was like, oh, I'm just doing my thing. Like,
Yeah.
So, but
it's one of the highest honors that you can get from the people that you live with. And so we were very, very proud of that.
That's
I mean,
very
he
cool.
graduated with honors, so we knew that. We know he's smart, but now we know he's we always knew, but he's a good person. So that was cool.
Now, Sonny and I often bond over our similar competitive natures. We're both a little crazy.
Yeah.
I'm from hearing her tell stories, you also have this trait a little bit. Are you?
Yes, I definitely get that from her. Very much so.
Is this a prerequisite for being a Hostin, or is it?
It definitely runs in the blood a little bit for sure. I definitely
Paloma's
like getting out
competitive
there.
too.
Just makes me feel alive. Like,
Exactly. No,
Doesn't
no.
it? It's so good.
Yeah.
a little adrenaline. Like, let's go. What you got?
Yeah, what
Show
you
me
got?
something.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we want to win.
Right,
Doesn't
I
matter
want
if
to
it's a
win.
board game or a race or- yeah.
Honestly, I want to win so bad. I want them. I want you to beat me. I
Right.
want someone. I want to learn
Yeah.
something for real.
Try to
Like,
beat me.
Now,
you
is
know?
this now? There are people that would put a negative spin on this, but this is all positive for you. It's motivation. It's all good. Or
Oh yeah.
do you ever wish you could?
I don't. I never. Losing is like not like a thing in my
'Cause we don't
repertoire.
lose.
I don't lose. I either win or I learn.
There we go.
There you
Yeah, win or learn.
Go.
Until this point, Sonny's only just won. My experience with your mom is it's either win or complain about it for the next 10 years.
Yes.
But otherwise,
I'm not a
Jeopardy.
gracious loser.
No.
You know that.
Yeah.
No.
No. I'll lose for fine. I'm like, yo. I'm gonna learn so much for this. I'm gonna come back and
win
then,
the
like,
next time.
and you're done.
is
Then
why-
you're done.
More evolved.
I like it. This is why we need to get your mom back on Celebrity Jeopardy so she gets
No,
another
I'm
shot.
never doing that again.
Oh yeah, you've told me stories.
That buzzer.
It's all good.
This
It's all
is
good.
set up.
All right, so tell us something about your mother that the audience would not know. If it's embarrassing, that's great.
Because we've already talked about how you just sporadically dance like all the time. The last time I was talking
I do
with
dance
you.
all the time.
Yeah.
Let's
And
see
she
what
injured
else.
herself rollerblading in the house. That
Let's
was
see
fun.
what else. My mom.
did.
Let's see something embarrassing though.
Yes, please.
Let me think of something.
I'm always elegant.
Always elegant, unless
am.
you're like chasing after the chickens. Like literally, she's chasing after chickens sometimes because we let them out into the yard.
You let
It's like
them
a
out
Rocky
into the
movie.
yard. He lets them out in the yard, and I'm always afraid of. I'm risk averse. I'm always afraid
Yeah.
of like a hawk
And
coming
I
and
risk it for
taking
the biscuit,
one.
like
No, you
He
got it.
does.
As an entrepreneur, of course.
And
you
I'm
know?
like, I'm like running after these chickens, and I'm upset with him because he's let them out
When we talk about the
in heels.
Gabriel, help me.
is there video of this?
We can find.
Let's find some video of this, please. I need to see
You
this.
gotta stop letting them out. They could get killed.
I'd like a chicken chase in the studio. I think we got to do that for your birthday next year. Just let them loose and see how many you
Do
can
I
get.
Right.
sound like that? Do I look like that?
Yes, all the time. Gabriel, look. What are you doing? Look at that. Emmy is running free. She's about to escape. I'm like, come over.
You have a chicken named Emmy?
Yes, we have a chicken named Emmy.
All right.
We got
Yes.
Attila the Hun, the hen.
We have
Attila the hen. I
we have
knew about
Attila the
Attila.
hen.
Yeah.
We have Ursula. We have Whoopi Goldberg. We have some new ones. We have Lucky. We have Red. Can't remember the other.
All right,
ones.
I like it. Now we talk about, unfortunately for you, we talk about your dating history, and we talk about this and Paloma too, to a certain extent. Is it intimidating to bring a girl around, or do you not even think twice about it?
Oh, honestly, I don't even think twice about it. Like I just bring like, hey guys.
Yeah, he just
meet
brings
my
people.
new girlfriend,
And I'm
my
like-
new lady. Yeah.
And what do I generally ask?
You generally ask, so what do you want with my son?
I do that.
What do you
That's
want with my
brutal.
son?
What about the reading?
And you ask a bunch of questions. You're like, hey, so like, what are you reading right now? That's a big question you ask.
It's a job interview.
I remember one of my girlfriends is like, oh, I'm reading your book.
That was such nonsense.
I bet
reading
you
your
loved it. I bet that would work on you.
But
She didn't know anything about me. How's she reading my book?
yeah, mom was like, I don't know about that.
Which
Yeah.
one? Did she go with the autobiography?
She went
or-
with the memoir.
Yeah, that's
that
smart.
was bad. That was bad choice though because she didn't know anything about me.
But then after reading it, she
Yeah,
still didn't know.
because then I was like, oh, I'm from the Bronx. Oh, you are? Okay, you didn't read my memoir, my friend.
Trick. It's a trick.
Yeah.
Do they get nervous to meet her?
Yeah, a little
I would
bit.
think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though to me, she's like, oh, just my mom.
Right.
You know, but then she's like, oh.
Yeah.
It's like, I was like, Gabriel, you're walk me in there. You're gonna introduce me. I'm like, I already know that.
Yeah. Even if she wasn't
do
on
look
TV,
nervous.
she's already still a prosecutor to begin with. It's just a tough combo.
They do look
Yeah.
so nervous when they come in.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Who's worse? Am I worse or is your father worse?
That's a good question. I mean, probably. That's a great question. Probably Papa.
Yeah.
you have to
worse.
call him Dr. Hostin first
course.
off. If you're like, oh, hey, Manny.
No.
No, that's respect.
Or like,
I like
you know,
it.
Dr.
mind
Hostin,
Sonny.
but you know,
I don't mind Sonny.
They,
He
you know,
doesn't like that.
they just check him out for me. They grill him a little bit, you know.
He's
but,
worse.
But I'm like, you know, it's chill.
He's a little more judgy.
He's worse with the girls. I'm surprised. I can see
both.
him being tough on Paloma.
No, both.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
He's judgy.
All right.
We just, you know, we know he's a good kid. He's really got a big heart. You know, and so with that, we want his heart to be protected.
All right, now I want to call back to a hot topic we were just doing because we were talking about, you were listening in the other room. We're talking about if a girl says, you know, I could marry you after like a first date. That's a bit of a red flag, right? I mean,
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, look, like I like compliments personally.
Sure.
Like some people like me like compliments. You know, I like people who like me.
Right.
You know, when I was younger, I'd be like, oh, like you love me this much at first? Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I'm
But
like,
now-
okay, that is a little quick.
Yeah.
You know, I had my learning curve.
I
you
love
know?
from hearing this that it's happened multiple times, clearly. Like
Yeah.
several times
Yeah,
she's got
it has.
Yes.
It has.
Yeah.
No, I often
mean,
say to your mom, if I want to come back, I'd like to come back as you. I
Yeah.
he does.
I
He
think
does say that.
It's a nice setup. It's good.
You know, the 3-sport athlete, the
Yeah.
musician, the
Harvard
scuba
grad,
diver. Yeah.
women throwing themselves. It's a nice
Yeah.
nice gig if you can get it.
Yeah.
All right, that's all the time we have for today. But thank you for joining me, Gabe and Sonny. Tomorrow I'll be back on the show with Alyssa, and we will see you then.